Look at this cake. Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited because this is an extra special video. We are going to be doing the Just Try It video, which if you've looked at my videos when I first started my YouTube channel, the whole point of this channel was just to get into new stuff, whether it's baking or crafts or whatever, and I'm just gonna try it and we're gonna see how it works out. And for this one, it is a special Just Try It video because we are going to be doing a vanilla cake from the Preppy kitchen, and if you guys have not looked at his channel or his website, totally check it out. He is so talented and adorable. So we are going to be doing that cake because it is my birthday this week, so I thought I would make my own self a cake. Yes, treat yourself on your birthday week or month. But with that, y'all, I am very excited to do this. I am also terrified because I've only made a cake from his channel once before, and it was beautiful, but it was a lot of work. So if you are following along with me, y'all, make sure that you have a lot of space in your kitchen, and if you are just looking and watching it for the fun of it, get some popcorn, because this is gonna be fun. So with that, let's get it started. Okay, so to get this party started, we are first going to start off with sour cream. I just got normal, what is this? It doesn't clarify, but I just got normal sour cream from Target. We're gonna open that up, and he says to do 1/4 cup. So if you know me, you know that I like to use the least amount of cups and dishes that I can. I wish you guys could see my kitchen because I'm using all of them, but that is okay. So I'm now going to take my measuring cup right now, and we're going to put in 1/4. Okay, so we have 1/4 of the sour cream in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sour cream first and put it in my bowl. And again, this is just a tactic that I use so that I'm able to use the least amount of things, especially since I feel like the milk is going to already mix with the sour cream, so let's just use the same thing. So we have the milk. If you look on his website, he says to use a cup of milk, but in his video, where the cake looks really good, he only does 3/4 cup. So I'm gonna do the 3/4 and we're gonna see how that turns out. Okay, perfect. So we've got 3/4 cup of milk. So we're gonna put that in here. And then again, if you look in the video, he says teaspoon, but I think he means tablespoon because it says on the bottom tablespoon and on his website tablespoon. So we're gonna do a tablespoon of the white vinegar, and we're gonna whisk it together. Okay, so now that that is all beautifully whisked together, we are now going to start on our dry ingredients. So now we have our dry ingredients, and I got a sifter, and so I already put the 1 2/3 cup of flour in here and the 1 teaspoon of salt. So again, I have that over my big bowl right here. So then I just have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'll put that in my sifter. And we have 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Don't mix them up. Don't do that. Now I'm going to just sift that all and put it in my big bowl. Fun fact, this is my first time ever using a sifter, and I will never not use it again because my dry ingredients look beautiful. And I'm just gonna whisk it a little bit. And I'm gonna set it aside so now we can cream our butter. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to say big thank you to the incredible family that I met on Facebook Marketplace, because I've always wanted a KitchenAid, but I am in my 20s in Los Angeles and cannot afford anything. So I got one on Facebook Marketplace, and I met the sweetest family, and thank you also for subscribing. And we're gonna use it. So to get this party started, we are going to first use 3/4 cup of room temperature unsalted butter. Now he doesn't clarify in his video or on his website what power he uses it on. So, but he said it's gonna be like nice and light and fluffy. So I feel like it's gonna be like pretty powerful. So I'm gonna start it at a 4. Okay, I'm going to say that that is pretty freaking light and fluffy. I'll show you real quick. Ooh, look at that. That looks fluffy to me. Yeah, that looks pretty fluffy. So now we are going to add the 1 cup of sugar. And then he says when it gets to this point to put it down off the sides. So this looks pretty good and mixed and light and fluffy to me. I'll show you guys again. Light and fluffy. I won't do it, I won't do it. Okay, so now we are going to take 3 eggs, and we are going to use only the egg whites from the eggs. So, I'm going to take my first egg. I'm going to put these eggs down. Make sure they don't fall. But I'm going to take my first egg. What I like to do is just take the eggshell, split it in 2, barely, but then let that go in there as much as I can without getting the yolk in there. He said it's not too bad for this part if there's any yolk that goes into the mixture, but I'm gonna try and make sure that no yolk gets in there. And that's pretty good. Look, there's like only the little yolk. And I'm gonna mix it a little bit. So far, so good. Like, this hasn't been that tough. But let me not jinx myself. Okay, so now that I have it like that, I'm going to do it for my second egg. Okay, it is definitely getting more liquidy, which I feel like is a good sign. And I'm going to finish it off with my third egg. I just want you to look at this real quick. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but these are perfect. I did such a good job. It's literally just the yolk and like no egg whites. I'm very impressed with myself. And we're gonna take it back to 4 and let it stir again. It kind of looks like ice cream when you go to Chick-fil-A, which is my favorite ice cream. And then last but not least, we are going to add in our almond extract. He said to do about 1 to 2 teaspoons. I for sure am going to do 2 because if you have not used almond extract before, it is a game changer, y'all. He also said to make sure that you do use a flavoring that is clear since this is a white cake. So I am going to use this almond extract and make sure I don't pour the whole thing in there. And I'm gonna mix this at a 6 for just a little bit. So next we are going to take our 3 6-inch by 2-inch round cake pans, and then I also got this baking spray. It basically is just oil and flour, which just is going to save us some time. So we're going to spray that with the 3 of these. Oh my gosh, it smells like birthday. Beautiful. And then one of the things that he did was he also cut out 3 rounds of parchment paper. So that's gonna help it come out more at the bottoms evenly. So I just cut these little rounds out and I'm gonna place them at the bottom and they're ready to go. So because we want to make sure that the batter is equal in all of the rounds, I also got a digital scale. He has a massive one, which I bet is like hundreds of dollars. So I just got this little bitty one from Target and it should do the job. It comes with a tray. that you can just put on there, and I can see to make sure that they are all even. Okay, so now we are going to add in the dry ingredients that we set to the side, as well as the wet ingredients. So the way to do this, as he says, is I'm just going to take a little cup. This is half a cup, and I'm going to first and foremost, whoop, took this thing down. Okay, it's back. So we are going to take the half cup, and we are going to add just a little bit into this. Make sure that we already have, so I'm going to pop that in. And I'm just going to start this at a low, so I'm just going to even keep it at a 2/4. And then we're going to take the wet ingredients, and we're going to put about half of that in. It's looking pretty good so far. So now I'm just going to take my spatula, make sure that all of this comes down from the sides. And I'm going to add in the rest of my dry. Okay, so now we are going to just mix this a little bit, make sure that it is all together, even though my amazing KitchenAid is already doing an incredible job. How did I ever live life without it? I don't know. I feel like I should name her. What are you thinking? I don't know. If you think of like a cute name, just put it in the comments below, and I'll think about it. And so this looks really good. So now that it is all mixed and beautiful, we are going to eat it. No, I'm joking. We are going to put it into our cake pans. So this is when our little electric measure thing comes in handy. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna maybe do like a dollop in this one, just a little bit for that batter, and see how much that is. Okay, so I got these to be about 445, 444 grams evenly, and so I just put them in here. You can see, ta-da! He says not to like super duper even them out, but to make sure that you smack the bottom. Just like with cookies, we don't want any air bubbles. And then we have the cake strips. So these strips I got from Michael's. The one that I got, I think it was like $26, but it came with like 6 of them. There was like 2 for each size, so I think it was worth it. But you just take these and you put them in like cold water for about 5 minutes. And it says not to wring them out, but I'm just gonna give them a little squeeze. And then we are just going to put them around the bottom of our cake pans for the sides, like so. And tighten that up a little bit. And now that we have them with the cake strips, we are going to put them in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. Okay, y'all, it is about that time. I am sweating because I am nervous because we are going to make his Swiss meringue buttercream. It looks gorgeous and it looks delicious, so we are going to give it a try. So to start that off, we are going to start with 5 egg whites. And this one is super duper important because you cannot get any of the yolk for this one. So make sure that you're extra careful. Okay, and then now that we have the egg whites, and of course make sure that this is in a glass bowl. So we have the egg whites, the 5 egg whites in a glass bowl, and then we have 1.5 cups of sugar. So I'm just gonna put that in there. Okay, while I'm whisking this around, let's talk about the next step. We are going to take a pot of simmering, not boiling, simmering water, as he says, and we are going to put this glass bowl on top of that, but make sure that the water doesn't touch the bowl. That's very important. And we are going to heat it up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Another fun thing, I ended up getting this from IKEA. It was not expensive at all, and you can use it for meat or for liquid. So this is a great tool if you are interested in baking anything where you have to know the temperature. Okay, so we have it at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So we are going to take the mixture and we are going to pop it into our KitchenAid. And now we're gonna mix it up. We wanna make sure, because it is super duper hot, we wanna mix it up and make sure that it gets room temperature, and so I'm gonna get some frozen stuff from the freezer, mix this up, and kind of keep that around there. So this is a little bit of what I was nervous about. It looks very soupy. You can see, very soupy. But he said that's fine, so I'm going to put this in the fridge for about 5 minutes to make sure that it actually really does cool down. Okay, the cakes are done, as you can see. This one is a little lighter than I thought it was going to be with the time that I let it in. I let it in at 350 for about like 40 minutes, but it still is cooked, still cooked all the way through, just maybe a little bit more spongier, but it's gonna go right down. See, right out of the pot. Just maybe like on a little bit of the edges, but for the first time for doing this, I think that's pretty good. Y'all, I did not think I was gonna get emotional, but emotional I am. Okay, so I ended up putting this in the freezer for about 10 minutes after putting it in the fridge for about 10 minutes. Just go straight to freezer. If you can fit it in the freezer, fit it in there. Because as y'all saw, it was soupy and I was nervous, but it came out and it is exactly how it's supposed to look. So look at that. Look at this consistency. Look at this consistency. Like butter. Ah! Mmm. Oh my God, that's so good. So he said to just put a little bit of vanilla in there just for tasting. So I'm just gonna put just a smidge. Ooh, it's dark vanilla. It's okay. It's okay. That's what we learned. But we're just gonna mix this a little bit more and then we will move on to the cakes. Oh, and when you do spin it around, keep it at like a 6. Okay, so since we now have our beautiful icing, we are just going to take a couple spoonfuls of it. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. I'm so proud of myself, I could cry. And we're just going to do a couple of spoonfuls of that, and we're going to do the same exact thing that we usually do when we're doing icing for our cookies. So for this one, I'm going to make this maybe a little bit bigger, just because this is going to go all around the cake. Fold it in half. Look how thick that is. Oh my God. Ta-da. And I got my wheel. So I also put the cakes in the freezer. So we're just going to put those to the side now that they are completely cool. We're going to start here. Actually, I'm going to start on this one. Oop. Rule of thumb, just put a little bit in the middle so that it is able to stick. Beautiful. And then we're just going to pipe another layer. And I'm just going to smooth that out just a smidge. Try and keep it as even as possible. And in his video, he says you don't have to pipe it. I'm piping it just because I'm trying to get better and better. But you can just honestly take a big dollop and put that on here as well. Okay, we've got that layer done. So now it is time for the second layer. Gently pop that on top. And yeah, I'm just gonna do a dollop for these. It's just easier. And then the last layer. And then I'm just going to take my same piping bag and I'm going to take the icing and put it around the cake. Okay, and now that I have smoothed out the cake, I smoothed it out with my little utensils right here. I am just going to finish up the decorating. So I have my tip right here. It is a 21. And we're just going to put that around. Beautiful. And we are going to add some sprinkles. pink is my favorite color. And then we're gonna add that to the sides. So he said just to take a handful of it and smooth it on the sides. And there we have it. Y'all, I am so proud of this cake. I could literally cry. It is absolutely beautiful. Show you the top right there. It is absolutely beautiful. I just want to say thank you so much to the Preppy Kitchen for making it so easy for me to be able to make this cake. I'm going to give this a 8 out of 10 for easiness, just because I did have a small panic attack when the buttercream came out soupy, but then I learned to put it in the freezer. And also just with like some of the utensils you need, if you're like a really big beginner, maybe even like a 7 out of 10 if you just really have never made a cake before, because there are a lot of utensils that you will need, and I will link those all below in the description box. But other than that, y'all, this cake is so great. It came out beautiful. It looks delicious, and I'm so proud of myself. And that is the whole point of this whole YouTube channel, is just to do something that you feel so proud of and that is going to be delicious. So I'm gonna put this in the freezer, let it kind of cool a little bit because it is hot in here, and you don't want for the buttercream to melt. And if you want to give me a little birthday present, make sure that you do like and subscribe on this video, and I'll see you guys later.